Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 254. I'm your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is Ms. Joplin. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me.
Now, for people who want to be a guest on my talk show, and people who want to know, well, let me rephrase that. Like I said, I'm in a rush. The whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities, that you should never give up and you should prove to people you can still amount to something. With that being said, it's a half hour, give or take. But jumping into it, what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, I'm an actress. I live in Los Angeles. I lived in New York for the better part of a decade, doing Broadway shows on and off for 10 years. I did Hairspray. I got scouted out of high school when I was 17 and brought to New York and did the first national tour of Hairspray. And then I went on to do it on Broadway. And then I took some time off, and then I did another show called Crybaby shortly after that. And then I took some more time off. And then I was writing music and producing concerts and stuff in New York. And I did another show, which was lovely, called Fat Camp. Excuse me, please forgive this, insane, I'm getting over a terrific cold. So I did a show called Fat Camp, which was amazing and lovely. And then I took a little time off and went home to Michigan to be with my family while my mother was battling cancer. And then and she lost her battle in 2013, and I moved out to Los Angeles, and I've been out here ever since, and I love it. I'm writing and doing a lot of projects and, just auditioning, and pilot season is good, and bartending on the side, which is always fun. And yeah, that's pretty much me, in a nutshell.
No, absolutely. Now, do you have any questions or subjects you want to ask me? Anything you want to talk about, promote? This is your time, after all.
This is your hour. This is your half hour, as my therapist would say. It's your hour to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Well, no, I think what you're doing is really admirable and really great. I love that your message is so strong. I think it's really palpable, especially in a time where kids. I feel very strong and sort of connected to this anti-bullying thing. I didn't really experience a lot of bullying growing up, but obviously being in the theater, I had a lot of friends who were gay, and being gay when growing up in the early 2000s was not a cool thing to be. And and I watched my friends be mercilessly teased for being different. And so I think it's really admirable what you're doing. You're giving yourself a platform, and you're also giving other people a platform to see someone like themselves represented. And that's great. That's really great. What sort of gave you that strength? Because that's hard to find, I think. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people have sort of the strength to just say, you know what, this is who I am, and it's not something that debilitates me. It's something that actually strengthens me and something to be proud of. So where did that come from for you?
Well, one in my family, one time or another, had dealt with a disability, a learning disability, one time or another. But they overcame their own things. One of them became a poetry writer. The other one goes on tour. The other one became a school teacher. And the other two are doing whatever. And I just got tired of using my learning disability as a crutch. I can't go to college, I can't drive, I can't do this, I can't do that. And recently, one of my brothers were talking. My parents were like, oh, go talk to one of your brothers. They have connections, or they know people. And I was like, okay, what about me? And they stopped and looked at me and said, what about you? It's like, well, you're not qualified to do anything besides retail. You don't have money, you never went to college, and didn't do this, blah, blah, blah. So I said, you know what, screw it. And I was like, I'm going to show you with a disability, I can still amount to something. So, yes, I use my brother for an inspiration, but sometimes he's an asshole. So sometimes I wonder why I even say I use him for an inspiration. Go figure.
I mean,
He,
brothers. I have two brothers, so I get the brother thing.
he has his moments.
They all do.
But with that being said, I just got tired of using people. I just got tired of using people saying, and let me rephrase that. I just got tired of people telling me, we're gonna set limits for you. We're gonna have limits, and that my other brother asks me, says, "Oh, you're using people, using bad, you're doing bad." It's being a total dick. But I'm trying to show him that says, "Hey, I have a disability. Look, I can do." I'm just turning myself into anyone that's dealing with a disability, disabilities or learning disabilities, saying, you should never have people label you, and you should
Right.
prove to them. But labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be.
I mean, I think that's a really powerful message. I think I've really tried to live my life. I always say, like, I need to make sure that no matter what I'm doing in this life, I'm forging my own path, but I'm also doing it on my terms. What I mean by that is you can feel oftentimes when you're doing something that you've compromised a great deal of yourself
Right.
in order to get something. And I don't ever want to feel that way again. I think that I've felt that way in the past, and I don't. I personally, that's a very dangerous place for me to be when I feel like people put me in a box. Let's just call a spade a spade. Like, I'm an actress, and I get told a lot that, like, that I'm just gonna be able to do the funny fat girl roles. And I think that I'm more than that, and I think that I have something more to offer than just being a joke and just and so it's a thing that you have to fight within the business itself, because there's the way Hollywood looks at it, and then there's the way the world looks at it.
Right.
And so it's sort of interesting, and like, how do you change people's perceptions of what you are? For me, I think that we have to stop, like you said, stop putting limitations on people, stop telling them what they can and cannot do, what they are and are not capable of. And also, just like, I think as a society, it's comfortable for people to label you or me, because then they feel it's like a security comfort for them for some reason. As long as we get put into a box, they got us figured out. They understand us. You know what I mean? And then there's like a safety to that. And I'm like, fuck that, dude. Like, I'm not doing that for you. I'm not doing shit to make you fucking feel comfortable. So, I applaud what you say. You cannot let people put you in a box. You cannot let people put limitations on you. So.
No, absolutely. And I wish my family was more supportive. The only one that's supportive is my mother. Everyone else says, okay, yeah, that's great. Or my dad calls it, it's just your hobby. It's not real. People you're talking to aren't real.
Oh, they're talking about the interviewing stuff.
And it's just ridiculous. I get you saying this is not real. It's just a hobby. You're in an imaginary bubble. You have your head up your ass. You're not going to amount to anything. You're going to get sued. You're going to get this. And I get all this negativity. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, why do you have to be like that? I don't know. You're supportive of, my sister doing her thing. You're supportive of Jackass doing his thing. And that's my brother. You're supportive of my Jackass brother doing whatever. And for me, they just thumb your nose at me. Because it's like, well, you have a track record of screwing things up. You have a track record of getting yourself into problems. And it's kind of like,
yeah,
where is the breaking point of, and I don't mean to bitch to you, I apologize, but it's like,
but I think also there's something like really powerful in what you're saying in that too is like we have to learn sometimes to be our own cheerleaders. It's really difficult. You know, my mom was my best friend. She was my everything to me. And when I lost her, like one of the most difficult things for me to learn how to do was to start learning how to champion my own cause. And it was hard because it's really difficult to be the voice saying, you know, like you're doing a good job when like you fight all of that internal shit that like all the voices where you're like, well, I'm the fuck up and like you know, because we all have that, and it's really hard to be your own cheerleader. It's really hard to be your own support system, but it's very liberating once you figure out how to do that, because once you do, you stop needing the approval of other people. And when you don't need approval from other people, you're fucking unstoppable. And that's I think that's incredibly empowering, you know? So maybe, you know, I can't tell you what is going to happen with your path, but maybe in this you find that is what you get out of this, that you learn how to be your own cheerleader. You learn how to champion your own cause and sort of be that voice for yourself, and they'll come around, you know? I mean, I think what you're doing is great, and I think that, you know, it's important. I think it's important to have a voice and to give a voice to the voiceless. And I think people who have learning disabilities are voiceless a lot because I don't know why. I honestly don't know why, but I don't feel like there is a loud enough voice. If there is a voice, it's not loud enough. So just keep screaming.
No, absolutely. And we're doing a very short interview today. And because, you know, the personal reasons, tying up the internet, making a long story short for my family. But basically, I'm going to ask you, and use you for a perfect example, wrapping up, is when did your family accept you for who you are and this is what you want? And when, turning that back at me, when do you think they're going to finally, you know, wake up?
Well, I mean, here's what I'll tell you. I was a very precocious child, and I decide. Here's what I feel about things in general: family, friends, or other. If you walk into a room, okay, and you have decided who you are before you walk into that room, you're not giving anyone permission to say. To define you. You've made that decision. You then hold a power that other people can't touch. So for me, I decided that I was going to live my life and not ask permission from anyone to be who I was. That's something that's just very strong and palpable innately in who I am. My family, I'm the eccentric one, right? Like, I'm the black sheep. I'm the one that, like, I don't have, like, a grown-up job, right? I didn't go to college. I dropped high school. Like, I kind of took the path less beaten. And because of that, I think that there's a great deal of them that doesn't understand me, but I guess I don't need for them to understand me. And it's what I used to say to my dad all the time, or to my family. I'd be like, I don't really need you to get me. I just need you to love me. Like, I don't need you to get it. I don't need you to approve. I just need you to support me. I just need you to say, hey, I love you. No matter what you do, you make me proud, and that's it. And sometimes I think you have to say those things out loud. It's really weird. It's hard to put your feelings in words in a way that's so basic for people to understand. But sometimes you just have to say it in the most clear and direct way, and just say, listen, like, I know that I'm not what you think I should be. But I'm figuring out what I am, and I'm becoming pretty fucking proud of it. And I'd really like it if you'd get on board with that. And that's kind of, I mean, that's the only advice I can really offer you, darling, is that family is very important, but you gotta be that voice for yourself.
Right.
You've got to stop fucking asking permission to love yourself.
No,
You know,
absolutely. Now, wrapping up, how can people follow you on social media? And
I'm on Twitters. It's just Carly Jibson, CarlyJibson. It's my handle on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, so you can just find me that way.
wrapping up, going on the record, like the factor, going on the record. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your honest opinion? And after doing a special short interview, what do you think about being a guest afterwards?
I mean, I was all about it. Obviously, I have to apologize. Just for the record, let the record show, I must have canceled and rescheduled like 5 times because my schedule is so insane. But you were lovely and kind and so willing to make it work. So I appreciate that. I was all about it. You know, this is the kind of shit I live for. Again, like giving a voice to I hate to say the voiceless because that sounds like it's not empowering, but to make that voice louder, anything I can do to help champion that cause, like I'm fucking on board. So I think this was lovely, and I think it was definitely worth my time. And you know, I think that the best interactions take place when both people feel like they got something out of it, and I feel like I did. So that's all I can say.
Well, stay tuned. Like I said, I'm in a rush on my mind's like boggling. Stay
Okay.
tuned for after the show. I have a couple questions for you. Wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.